What's up, guys? March 30th, 2025. It's 2:40 p.m. I think. I just hit day 11 as of 12 p.m. noon, so I am going through day 11. I saw a buddy last night. If you watched my last video, it was real brief. I didn't really touch on much in that, just gave you a brief rundown of how I felt that day, which was pretty decent, right? All things considered. This morning was pretty decent as well. I actually didn't wake up in any acute withdrawals at all. I know I'm getting out there, right? Day 11. A lot of people start feeling start having their acutes disappear even earlier than this. And I warned you guys in the last video that I'm just extremely sensitive to this process just due to whatever. I don't know if it's my biology, if it's my current situation, my environment. Like I said, there's a bunch of different variables there, which is why you don't want to compare yourself too much to other people going through this. But all in all, I'm feeling pretty decent. I'm mostly concerned about the long road ahead, mostly concerned about the post-acutes and the brain games that come with it. Those are kind of my weak point. But I think that should be solved, or at least partially solved, by continuing the habits that I've formed in the first few days of this, first 7 days of this quit. And hopefully I'll be getting a job here shortly. Even if I'm not feeling, I can't wait to feel 100%, to get back out in the world, because like they always say, there is no right time to quit, right? Because no matter what, it's going to be a fairly torturous experience, an annoying experience, just a bad experience, a bad feeling, but a temporary one, right? And sure, I guess you can argue that some periods of time are probably better to quit during than others, right? But for the most part, don't let your current life situation hold you back from quitting like I did for so long. I kept working these terrible jobs that weren't good for me, and I kept thinking if I just keep dosing, I can keep my head afloat, you know what I'm saying? And then stay confident in my job, even though my performance sucks, right? So if I keep dosing, my performance will go up. And maybe if I could just hang it there and coast on that good productivity long enough, I'll be able to quit while working without damaging anything. Guys, that's a pipe dream, okay? That's a pipe dream. All right, so do what you have to do to get your health in order, or else things will go haywire. It doesn't matter if the K is ruining your body, ruining your mind, ruining your soul, your motivation, your drive, your everything. If it's giving you anxiety, social anxiety, if it's giving you depression, whatever it might be, guys, I know not everybody can just up and quit a job. Okay, I'm in a unique position to do that, and it's a very risky position, right? Because listen, quitting during unemployment when you're completely isolated, listen, that might seem easier than quitting in the middle of a busy job or whatever. I guess they both have their ups and downs, pros and cons, but I'll tell you what, could be a hall of mirrors when quitting, when isolated. So look, you guys know what's best for yourself. Just don't let yourself be held back by the fear of withdrawals and blowing your life up. Obviously you don't want to blow your life up. You want to do all this with minimal damage to yourself, your career, your ability to parent. For those of you that have parents out there, you have to remember, I'm single, I don't have kids, I don't have that concern in mind. Okay, so that comes with its own struggles though, man. It's just me, myself, and I. That's it. I'm the only one that can get out of this. There is no motivation for me otherwise. I don't have mouths to feed. I don't have anybody to make happy. So it's a different situation, arguably a better situation, but not really, man. When you're isolated, it really fucking sucks. So I want to say I woke up this morning with barely any acutes. Yeah, I feel rushy, not even rushy, man, just different. I definitely don't feel 100%, right? Mentally, I'm just in that anticipatory mode of dude, I'm a little nervous about the days coming ahead. And that's not good to think about, but it is realistic and in a way preparatory, right? I'm anticipating what's coming and I'm trying to prep for it, right? I got to stay busy. I've been reaching out to more of my friends, more people that I'd like to socialize with to stay busy. I mentioned it in my previous video. I actually recorded it when I was driving over to a friend's house that I don't know, sometimes you just got to force yourself to do things, just got to force yourself to do things. As for improvements, guys, the brittle bone sensation is gone in my hands. I no longer have to crack my knuckles or feel like I have to crack my knuckles anymore, right? When I crack them, the sensation goes away. It's a bad habit anyways, but you'll know what I don't know if everyone gets that sensation, but it's weird. I had the same thing in my back this time. I just felt like I had to constantly crack my back. Aches and pains in my joints, they come and they go, but like they're mostly gone. And some of that might be the weightlifting that I've been doing. Nothing super rigorous, but definitely enough to get the blood pumping. Same thing with the running, the jogging, and the walking more than usual, right? So my thighs, I feel some discomfort, some burning, not even burning, just some discomfort there. But even then, half of that could be attributed to just like sudden increase in exercise. Tinnitus, guys, gone. My tinnitus is gone, guys. I'll never forget this one time sitting not far in the car from where I am right now. I took a shot in the afternoon, and as soon as I swallow it, the single high-pitched tone that you have, people with tinnitus have, it went from a single tone, right, like a whine. I swallowed the bottle, and all of a sudden, it started sounding like somebody switching through like radio stations, obviously with no voices, but imagine all different pitches. Like tinnitus is usually like a subtle like beep in the background, right? But imagine that I swallow the OPMS shot, and all of a sudden it goes like beep, and it just lasted. It never went away. Like, what the fuck is going on there? That's crazy. That's like crazy. That scared me. That was one of the more scary like moments I had. Other than the time that I thought I was having a seizure at work after I ingested a dose as well, which is maybe a story I'll tell you guys eventually. But that alone should be enough to like, you know, motivate you to quit. I'm feeling clear-headed. I'm waking up with way more energy. I'm waking up with and able to handle tasks with a fair amount of ease. The night still brings some anxiety. I'm still a bit emotional, but nowhere near the mood swings that like I'm accustomed to for this process. So I think like the up and down tapering from the past year and a half has had a major effect. But I don't know, man, like that day 9, was it day 9, day 8? You can go back to my previous videos. You'll see it. I lay it out where it was like a real downer night. I lay it out in my post tab as well, just a real downer, but nothing I can't survive. It's just for me, oof, man, my current status and circumstance is not really good when you have like those real bad emotional mood swings, right? Like that aching loneliness that can't be solved by anybody or anything, or like, you know, it's like, it's just really horrible, but it's like, how horrible is it really? You know, like we all have bad days. It's just something unique about like those type of like bad days and bad moods, you know, that like I think you know what it is, guys? I think it's just I've been so like down and anxious and like on edge for so long, knowingly taking this shit, and it's making my feelings worse, and knowing that I'm in for hell when I stop. Like I'm just really at a breaking point, and I think that's the issue. Like I'm not quitting K before it got the best of me. You get what I'm saying? I'm quitting K when it like really did get the best. Like I'm quitting K when it fucking destroyed me. You know what I'm saying? This is a last ditch effort, like break glass in case of emergency quit. So unfortunately, like I'm at the end of my rope in more ways than fucking one, dude, you know? And I think that's why I fear the anxious thoughts, the sadness, the depression, which again hasn't come very strongly or frequently, but my sensitivity is so fucked because of it, because it's like, it's just been that way for so long, just constant worrying about like how I'm going to get myself out of this hole that I've dug for myself, man. But I'll tell you what, like, you know, when you start getting past day 4, man, things get better. While simultaneously other things like maybe get worse, but those improvements mean everything, you know? So it really doesn't matter what else gets worse along the way. And even then you should be seeing like a decreasing amount of like symptoms in terms of their severity, right? Like, yeah, later today, I probably will get hit with like a wave of like, you know, some shitty acutes, you know, the goosebumps, the flashes. For me personally, the temp deregulation, that lasts like a pretty long time, but not like a disturbing amount. When you're not physically feeling like you're dying all the time, temp deregulation stuff is like a lot more bearable. It becomes more of like a mild annoyance that you learn to live with. So yeah, guys, I'm in the territory now, phase 2. I don't know if it's even considered post-acutes because, you know, I'm still feeling some stuff, but from now on, I'm going to start calling it, like referring to it as like pause or post-acutes, because I think I am approaching that page. And this is where I'm starting to notice like a few different mental changes, both like good and, you know, a little iffy, right? Like I said, I don't like to feel down when the sun goes down, you know? I could really use bright and sunny days. I don't want my mood to be dependent on the weather. It's just that, like, I've deprived myself of beautiful weather and enjoying the springs and summers for so long because of K, that I just want it so bad. I want sobriety and the warm weather so bad because I've deprived myself of it for years before this, right? I mean, you have to understand as a New Yorker, like, you know, when you're down and depressed and like in this K hole, just fucking wondering how you're gonna get out, you know, you look around you, the trees are dead, it's cold, it's just gray, there's nobody around, everybody's hibernating like bears, there's no socializing, I'm in a small town, like, you know, and that's already after years of the same pattern, you know, trying to quit in time for spring and summer. You know, the first nice day here in New York, it's crazy. It's like everyone comes out of hibernation and all of a sudden everybody's on the streets, everyone's on the trails, everyone's taking their hikes. And I love, like, that's the one cool thing about living in New York, man. Like, that's something that people in like California or Florida don't get to experience, is like that first beautiful day where everyone simultaneously emerges from their fucking caves and enjoys the good, nice day together. So this time around, I'm really happy to report that so far it's looking like I'll be able to capture this spring and summer with no issue and actually enjoy it for once. Getting and having money and time to actually do fun shit during is a whole different period, a whole different situation, but I'm not stressing that, man. Like, all I care about is mental clarity, contentedness, and not like crushing, crippling depression as the weather gets nicer and as people get more active and things like that. So there's things I'm looking forward to, but I do feel kind of weird. I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it. I think I partially explained it in the previous videos. It's like, I don't know, I'm feeling the absence of the K. I'm feeling the absence of the K. You know, feeling the absence. It's hard to explain because I'm not craving it. I'm not craving the feeling of K. I'm not even craving like the ritual of going to get it, right? Because that was a ritual for me. I kind of loved those moments back at my peak usage. I'm feeling deprived of something. And yet it's not K. I think it has a lot to do with my lack of control over my life at the moment. I laid that out before. There's a lot about my life that is in order, but not quite right. So a lot of that could be subjective. Like, I feel pissed that, like, since I've basically controlled demolition my life in order to get out of this, like, I'm not able to just like run down to the store and pick up like liquid IV if I think I'm missing electrolytes. Like, I'm not able to go get liposomal vitamin C or order it from Amazon because I destroyed myself. Like, I don't have the ability to do that, right? So I feel like that does give me some anxiety, right? Just because it I don't know, it feels like something, you're being deprived of something, right? I'm just glad that like the feeling isn't like I'm feeling deprived of Kratom. That's a good thing, right? That's a victory. I'm just feeling deprived of like my ability to smoke THC like when I need it the most, you know? And it's like I barely have been smoking too much like over the past year. I just forget about it. Like, I'll finish whatever pen I'm using and then I'll just sort of forget. You know, but moments like this, it's like, dude, I wish I had more control over my own life and didn't fuck it up so much to be able to actually buy that stuff when I know for a fact I'm not going to relapse. Dude, I've had $15 in my pocket for a little bit, you know, and I haven't spent it on Kratom. I'm looking at it at the smoke shop. Like, I'm looking at it right now. You guys can't see it. I'm looking at it and I feel no compulsion to go over there. None. Zero. Zip. Nada. Not even just saying that for your benefit. I feel no urge to ever go in there again. None. I do feel an urge to pick up some fucking weed and just toke it a little bit so I can just, you know what I'm saying? So I'm having that feeling, and I know it's not healthy. I know full sobriety is the way for me, but that time will come. It is not here yet, okay? It is not here yet. I have to get over one dependency at a time, and I don't even know if I'd call like my situation with weed or alcohol or anything a dependency. Little science experiment. I went to see a buddy last night for some drinks, and I was thinking, shit, man, I don't know if it's a good idea to do that, like, because I'm over a lot of the acutes. Now, if you drink when you're in the middle of the acutes, me personally, they make them worse. Not terrible, right? But they could trigger them, right? They can also throw your mood way off. Like, alcohol is a depressant after all. So I will report that I woke up this morning with like a slightly lower mood than usual, but it wasn't sadness, it wasn't anxiety, it wasn't like depression, it wasn't like loneliness. It was just like, I don't know, man. I just woke up and I was like, yeah, I drank last night. Kind of a dirty feeling. I don't really feel that great. But I calculated that because in the moment, I needed to have a drink with a buddy. Fuck it, man. I haven't drank in forever, and I had a great time, right? That alone pays off because it didn't tragically destroy my mindset and suddenly have me crawling back to, you know, the gas station heroin. It was just, who's pulling up next to me? Is that my personal gang stalker again? I'm just kidding. You guys saw that from my previous video. But, yeah, so again, I'm not going to advise you guys to drink alcohol, but I've said it in a previous video where, like, as long as you're not harming yourself or putting yourself in a position to, like, swap one addiction to another, if you have no problem with other substances or whatever, and can knowledgeably and responsibly use them as tools to get you through, like, a temporary shitty position, you know, don't be afraid to do that. I'm not afraid to do that. Had a couple glasses of Jack and Coke last night, and, you know, it was fine. That was more worth it. I don't care. I woke up this morning feeling a little heavy, but that's it, man. No acutes, no nothing. I was really curious to see, like, if that was going to fuck my whole thing up or not. So obviously I'll still be avoiding it for the most part, because I can buy alcohol with the $15 I have on me. You know what I mean? I just don't really feel a need to, because I don't enjoy it that much. It's not that fun. I'd much rather socialize and have a drink than just, like, drink a glass alone. That, for me, drinking a glass of, like, whiskey or, like, wine alone would mostly come in, like, the nights of the early acutes where I'm like, dude, I can't take it, you know. So what else? Yeah, man, tinnitus is gone. That's crazy. I mean, I think I had a bit of it before I even started the K to begin with, but it doesn't sound like it's flicking through goddamn radio stations anymore, which is crazy. Brittle bone feeling is gone. That feels great. Dude, my pee no longer smells like a chemical weapon. That's pretty cool. Isn't it crazy to be proud of such a thing? Like how far we can fall? Dude, congratulations. Your piss no longer smells like a chemical weapon. It's like, why does your piss smell like a chemical weapon, dude? What'd you do to yourself? You know, like in retrospect, it sounds so crazy that, like, what we do to ourselves, man, you know, just to feel better and escape from whatever it is that we're feeling at the time or felt we needed to escape. As for me, it didn't feel like I was even escaping anything. I just, like, did it because I thought, like, I don't know, that it benefited me, that it was, like, fun in some ways, that I was able to avoid, like, more heavy pharmaceutical alternatives, you know what I mean, for certain issues. I just, whatever. So that's the tricky part. Like, how do you stop something where you don't quite understand why you picked it up to begin with, right? Like, for me, it was just impulsive, sort of. Like, it wasn't very well thought out. And yet there is still some, like, root cause, because as you can see, I'm, like, desperately, like, trying to, like, reach for something to make me feel better. So there's, like, something in there that has me, like, running for something, but, like, I don't know, like, right now I think I'm just running from the withdrawals. Like I don't feel like the need to run to alcohol or weed or anything else when I feel, like, totally out of this, you know. Like, I didn't feel that feeling when I quit for 6 months a few years ago, you know. So everything's decent, guys. Everything's decent, but I think I got to start making, like, some major moves, like, professionally, and get a job or whatever. Obviously, like, I can't let this I can't stop. Like, I can't keep, like, fixating on, like, my current situation. Like, when I came out here to, like, make a video, I'm like, shit, man, I don't know what I'm going to say, because, like, not much is different. It's just slow improvements. Well, relatively fast improvements, but, like, I don't know. I've said most of what you guys need to hear, I think, during the first week. And now I'm like an astronaut on a new moon, like I said in the other video, where I'm like, I don't know what to expect, so therefore I don't have anything to talk about, because, like, I'm not experiencing it yet. Like, my mood is whatever. Oh, speaking of that, I'm like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed when he's talking to his hot shrink in that one scene where he holds out his hand and he talks about how his hand never shakes even when things are getting crazy. Dude, my tremors are gone, man. My tremors are fucking gone. Kratom gave me crazy, crazy tremors, to the point where, like, if I tried to do underline, like, if I had a pen in my hand and was writing or underlining text from a book, dude, you could look at all my underlines and annotations and they look like shit and all squiggly, because, like, I had crazy, crazy tremors. Hair shedding stopped. Hair is already, like, getting, like, kind of, well, I don't want to say it's getting thicker, but the shedding alone has stopped, which is wild. So that's two huge things, guys. Like, tinnitus and hair shedding stopped within 9 or 10 days of quitting Kratom. That's it. That's a drop in the bucket. That's a drop in the bucket compared to the long-term whatever. You know what I'm saying? So look at that. Like, I've been on heavy dosages for 5 years, guys. And just 10 days, 8 days, 9 days off was enough to completely turn that around. Urination frequency is like gone down as well. Like, I don't know if you guys had that, but dude, I was pissing like nonstop, dude, going back and forth to the bathroom, back and forth to the bathroom. Like, it just felt like weird, man. I felt like an old man, you know, but I've just noticed the other day that like that went away too. Not fully, right? I'm still like going more than like I probably should be, but like, you know, it's one of those things I think back on the last few days and I'm like, yo, I haven't had to like get up in the middle of the night and go and then go back. Like, interesting. You see, I mentioned that in a previous video too, where like when you're feeling sort of crappy, it's hard to isolate like the improvements. Think of like a VHS static screen, right? With all the static being the shitty things that you're feeling. Things like frequent urination being like 1 pixel. You know, tinnitus disappearing being another pixel, right? My brittle bone feeling disappearing being another pixel. Like, it's hard to like isolate and notice those improvements when you've just got like static and fuzz of shit that you're feeling, right? You know, so when you sit in the feelings, which I've advised for a long time, like, don't try and like bat them away. If you just sit in a room and like let it wash over you, you'll know that they're just physical sensations. Yes, you can't control them, but they're just physical sensations, you know? And that has sort of allowed me to isolate the things that have been improved, right? Instead of just like constantly distracting myself, which I still do a lot of, but like, you know, if you just sit in silence and like just let it wash over you, you'll be able to notice, oh, okay, I'm not feeling that anymore, but I am feeling this. And even though I am feeling this and it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel as bad as yesterday, you know? And eventually, before you know it, you wake up and you go the first few hours of the day without even thinking about how you're feeling. Like this morning, I didn't really think about how I was feeling. I woke up, did a quick inventory. Okay, I don't want to puke because of the alcohol. Okay, I'm not highly depressed because of the alcohol last night. All right, I'm not anxious. I'm basically like checking myself for gunshot wounds after a officer involved shooting. Shit, am I hit? Did he hit me? You know what I'm saying? Is it just adrenaline keeping me going or what? And then I just forget about it. You know, that's how it goes. And yet, simultaneously, it's so weird because I know I'm still in an epic battle with like a dragon. Like a real dragon. Who knew they existed? So I don't know where to go next, man. Get a job, I guess. I guess that's it. Kratom's begging for its life. Too bad. So sad.